The Atlanta Braves offense is slowly making progress to get back to their normal levels as they get a 4-2 win on Tuesday night. Reynaldo López with another good start. We'll discuss all of that and much more on today's episode of Locked On Braves. So let's get into it.
You are Locked On Braves, your daily Atlanta Braves podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, and welcome back to Locked On Braves, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your favorite Atlanta sports teams each and every day. I am your host, Jake Mastriani. You can follow me on social media at ShortstopBall. Also, make sure you check out the podcast there at LockedOn_Braves. Send in any questions, comments, or feedback that you have for the podcast. If you're new and watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. If you're watching there, hit that thumbs up button as well so others can find us here at Locked On Braves. You're listening on the audio version. Thank you so much for your support. Make sure you leave me a 5-star review, whether it be on Apple, Spotify, whatever it may be. Really does help out the show. And thank you so much for all your support of Locked On Braves. If you're an everydayer, let me know down in the comment section below. Shout out to Adam Dowd and AJ in the Mojave Desert out there listening right now. Thank you so much for letting me know that you are everydayers here at Locked On Braves. Today, we will discuss Tuesday's 4-2 win, talk about Reynaldo López start, some of the biggest moments in that game, the offense showing some progress. Also take you around the league on this podcast and set you up for Wednesday's game with Chris Sale facing his former team. But from brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to bring home that big win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusion supply. eBay guaranteed fit only available to U.S. customers. Tuesday, Braves get a 4-2 win over the Red Sox, and winning cures a lot of things, and it feels good to win. I think we all can agree there. There were definitely some positive signs that I saw in this game. It is not the huge offensive performance that we have come to expect over the years from this Braves offense, certainly. And there are still some bad at-bats that need to be corrected. But overall, I thought it was a great game for the Braves. We talked about it coming in, a tough pitching staff. Cutter Crawford's been really good this year, and he was great in this one as well, just limiting the Braves to those 2 runs. But overall, I thought it was a good game for the Braves and certainly a step in the right direction. Let's start talking about Reynaldo López, though. 5 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 4 walks, 1 earned run, and 5 strikeouts. He just simply ran out of gas in the 6th inning, but he was still pumping upper 90s. I talked about this on the postcast, which you can find in your Locked On Braves podcast feed or on YouTube on Locked On Sports Atlanta. But one thing that I was really encouraged with is that he was hitting 98, in that 5th inning. He was still hitting 96 in the 2nd inning and the 6th inning as well. I was really encouraged the fact that he still held that high velocity deep into this outing. The only thing I'm still concerned with Reynaldo López is he still seems to be searching for that third pitch against lefties. The slider I thought actually looked pretty good, and he went to it and got Rafael Devers for a big strikeout with that slider to a lefty. The thing about his slider, you watch it, it's more of a vertical 12-6 type of break. No, it's not 12-6, but it's more up and down type of break to it. And your traditional, I guess maybe they label it as a sweeper now, but more of your horizontal type slider sweeper. It's got more downward break on it. And I think that helps him a little bit more to throw it against lefties. But it seems like he is still trying to find that other pitch to throw against left-handed hitters. We talked about it his last 2 times out. He's left a changeup up that has got absolutely destroyed for home runs. He didn't throw the changeup at all in this start, but he threw 5 curveballs. 3 of them were put in play. 2 of them were hits. 1 of them a triple by Jarren Duran on a curveball that was hung. So he just still hasn't found that third pitch, in my opinion, and that pitch to really go against lefties. You can be successful against righties with the fastball, slider, how good that slider is. I have no worries there. But I do think something to watch with Reynaldo López is how does he get out lefties? Is he able to develop that curveball and that changeup to where he's more comfortable throwing it against lefties? Because right now, when he tries to throw those against lefties, they're getting absolutely crushed. He has to be able to get those pitches down, and specifically down and away. I want to touch more on the decision to leave Reynaldo López in that 6th inning later. But those were just some of my key takeaways from his start on Tuesday, which again was another really good start, just kind of ran out of gas in that 6th inning. But my first big takeaway from this game, much better at bats overall. That is what I am keyed in most at the moment right now with this Braves offense. Look, they did have 20 swings and misses, 17 against Cutter Crawford, who again has really good stuff. There's a lot of breaking pitches, but I'll take 4 walks to 7 strikeouts, which is what the Braves offense had in the game. I can live with that. They had 11 hard hit balls. Certainly love to see that in the double digits. Everyone contributed in some way in this game, except for Michael Harris, who was over 4, no runs, no RBIs, really nothing to show for it. But everybody else either had a hit, a walk, scored a run, drove in a run. Orlando Arcia didn't have a great night, but he did drive in a run on that awkward play at shortstop where it probably should have been his second double play of the game, but some miscommunication on who should be covering the bag. Drove in a run, so he at least did contribute, but pretty much everybody up and down the lineup did something. We talked about over the weekend where Ronald Acuna Jr. and Austin Riley were showing signs of breaking out. Well, both of those guys had 3 hard hit balls in this game. Riley had 2 hits. Acuna had a hit, and it was on the only ball that he didn't hit hard, which is just how baseball works sometimes. But I love the swings that I saw from him. I really love the swing on the ball that was down below the zone, and you saw him go down and get it and shoot it to right field. I feel like that's typically, if not a home run, at least a ball off the wall for him, but a great catch by the right fielder right up against the wall. But I love that swing. That's the second time I've seen that swing now in the last 4 games. So that's really encouraging for me. You had Jared Kelenic. He got his first home run as a Brave, got a cutter right down the middle that he did not miss, absolutely destroyed it after Travis d'Arnaud got hit by a pitch. And again, there were still some really bad at-bats in this one. And you're not going to have an entire game where there just isn't a bad at-bat in there, but still some that are concerning. Arcia swinging at the first pitch after Marcell Ozuna has a really good at-bat to work a walk. Arcia comes up there, swings at the first pitch into an easy inning double play. I get the aggressiveness from the Braves, but that is just killer. When you have somebody who has a long at-bat like that, pitcher's probably a little tired, having to work so hard in the previous at-bat, and you go swing at the first pitch and hit into a double play. Olson's at-bat with 2 on and nobody out in the 8th inning was a terrible at-bat. But overall, I feel like there were more competitive at-bats throughout the game, up and down the lineup, and they had a runner on base in every inning except for 1. And this is something we haven't seen from the offense. It's just putting continuous pressure on the opposing pitching, something that this Braves team has done a great job of and usually does. It's not something we've seen from this offense a lot lately. So that was encouraging for me. My second takeaway is pitching did a great job getting out of trouble. I mentioned the Braves had a base runner in every inning except for 1. Well, so did the Red Sox. And the Red Sox had even more pressure on the Braves. They had a leadoff double in the first inning. That runner was stranded. Back-to-back 2-out singles in the second inning. They were stranded. A leadoff single in the third. Got a double play to get out of that. A leadoff single in the fourth. That runner doesn't move. A 1-out triple in the 5th. This was a big one here. This was the hanging curveball Lopez threw to Duran. Went for a 1-out triple. No, Acuna couldn't have done anything to keep him from going to third. Lopez then strikes out Devers and Tyler O'Neill, the Red Sox 2 best hitters, to get out of that jam. Bases loaded, 1 out in the 6th inning. Bummer strikes out Duran and Devers to get out of that jam. You had a leadoff double in the 7th, and Jesse Chavez stranded that runner there. A 2-out error and an intentional walk with 2 outs in the 8th. Duvall makes a great catch to save a run there, and then Iglesias has a quiet 9th inning, which is what you want. So fantastic job by the pitching, getting out of jams. And then my final takeaway here, maybe some questionable manager decisions. And this one is always easy to manage from your couch, but leaving Lopez in too long. Obviously, hindsight being what it is, you should have taken him out at least a batter earlier than you did. But when you look at the fact it's a hot, muggy night in Atlanta, a guy being converted from the bullpen to the rotation. I just mentioned all the jams that he had to work out of, including a huge one in the 5th inning where you had the 1-out triple and then you had to strike out Devers and O'Neill. I'm sure that took a toll on him. He was approaching 90 pitches. You have a fresh bullpen with an off day on Monday, an off day coming up on Thursday. it seemed like everything pointed to the fact that you probably should have pulled Lopez in that inning. You had a walk to start the inning. Right then, somebody's got to be up, and maybe somebody was. I didn't have a look at the bullpen, but right there when he walks the leadoff batter of the inning, you got to be thinking, okay, it's batter to batter here now. Then Grissom reaches on an error, which was a tough play for Arcia. At that point, you probably should have done something then. But then he gets a strikeout, so maybe you're thinking, okay, he's back on track, he's fine. But when he walks Cooper to load the bases, you got to pull the plug there. You absolutely have to pull the plug there. I just think all the things that I mentioned add up to the fact that Lopez shouldn't have been left in as long as he was. So that's a bit of a questionable decision. Not pinch running for Ozuna in the 8th inning. This isn't one that's killer, but it's the 8th inning. It's your DH. We talked about, or the broadcast talked about the fact that the Red Sox have had trouble throwing out runners. Why would you not utilize your bench there, pinch hit Luke Williams, and then you force the Red Sox to make a couple decisions? Do you walk Arcia to face Michael Harris? Do you pull the infield in? I didn't really understand that decision. I get the Braves have played a lot of tight game slate, and Snicker's probably thinking if we go to extra innings, you don't want to lose Ozuna's bat, but that one was a bit questionable for me. Now, I'll give you one that I didn't like when it happened, but it worked out in the end, and that's pinch hitting Kelenic for Duvall. Kelenic finally is having a good game at the plate, home run, another hard hit ball, and then you pinch hit Duvall, which I get it was for the lefty-righty matchup, but I want to see more at bats from Kelenic, I guess is the only reason this one kind of upset me, but it did work out. Duvall worked a walk, got Acuna to the plate, who had a hard hit ground out. And Duvall ended up making a great catch in this game to save a run. Kelenic probably makes that play as well. But again, that's one where it's probably just more personal for me not liking it, just because I want to see more at bats from Jarred Kelenic to see if he can get going. But the one to leave Lopez in there too long, again, obviously with the fortune of hindsight now, being able to look back and see how things played out, it's easy to say you should have pulled him sooner. But again, all the things that I mentioned, I think added up to the fact that he should have been taken out definitely after the Cooper walk, if not after the Grissom reaching on that error. Those are all my takeaways from the game on Tuesday. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Next, I want to take you around the league. We'll look at the standings, power rankings, hottest hitters, pitchers right now. Not going to find a lot of Braves up in either of those rankings, but we'll discuss all of that here next. I've been working on putting my Mother's Day gifts together, and you can too with DoorDash. Surprise mom with flowers, gadgets, and self-care essentials all in one place, delivered right to her door with DoorDash. Does mom have a sweet tooth? Is she a tech enthusiast, a beauty connoisseur, or is she the outdoorsy type? No matter what your mom is into, you can make her smile with a fruit or flower bouquet, makeup, tech gear, workout wear, and more when you order on DoorDash. Pair flowers with a gift card so she can celebrate any way that she wants. Is she a bookworm like my mom? Try a bookstore gift card. Does she love a good latte? Get a gift card to her favorite coffee shop. You can't go wrong. And again, you can get this all on DoorDash delivered right to her door. Get all your Mother's Day gifts all in one place with DoorDash and get 50% off your next order, up to $15 when you spend 15 or more on your next flower, convenience, grocery, or retail order now with the code LOCKEDONMLB. Again, very important here, code LOCKEDONMLB. Make sure you go out, use it. Not only do you get 50% off your next order of $15 or more, but you also help support us here at Locked On Braves. Order using DoorDash today. Again, that code LOCKEDONMLB. Terms do apply. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN all day on the TV? You like having sports on your TV all day, but those guys are just yelling too much, talking nonsense, nothing that's really making you smarter as a fan. Make the switch over to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all that screaming. Locked On Sports today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We got another off day coming up on Thursday, so we will have another live mailbag episode Thursday night. We'll have another episode coming your way this week as well. So that's what's left here on Locked On Braves the rest of this week. It is our Through the League segment here. We will start with the standings. The Orioles and Yankees are tied atop the NL East right now. Pretty good battle going on there. The Guardians up 2.5 on the Twins and the Royals. The AL Central is suddenly a very competitive division over there. The Twins had a 12-game winning streak snapped on Sunday after their poor start. Winning 12 games in a row can certainly help get you back on track. The Rangers and Mariners are locked atop the AL West. The Astros are in last place in that division. Still, they've lost 3 in a row, and they have a negative 27 run differential. You think Braves fans have been panicking here lately after they've been struggling? Imagine what Astros fans are going through at the moment. Phillies are up 3 games on the Braves now in the NL East, so the Phillies are on a 7-game win streak. Look, I know the Phillies schedule is soft. I told you after that opening series against the Braves, a series in which the Braves won, I said, do not be surprised if the Phillies are on top of the division after the end of the month. The Braves held them off for a while, but you look at that schedule that they have in April and May, it is about as soft as one can be. Now, to their credit, they are not only just taking advantage of that schedule, they are obliterating that schedule. They look really, really good right now, and they're on top in the NL East, which is fine with me. Give the Braves some motivation throughout the summer, and hopefully it should be a good battle. I always expected it to be a good battle in the NL East. Brewers and Cubs are tied atop the NL Central. Not long ago, everyone in that division had a 500 record or better. That one's come down to life a little bit more. Now it's just the Brewers and the Dodgers, and the Brewers and the Cubs at the top. In the NL West, it is the Dodgers. It is essentially over. They're up 6 games right now. They're the only team with a winning record in that division, although I think the Padres will be better. Braves will play them here soon. But the NL West, it's a wrap at this point. The Dodgers are just too good, and nobody else in that division, I don't think, is going to be able to really contend with them. We here at Locked On gave our MLB power rankings this past week, and this is what it looks like. The Dodgers have overtaken the Braves. Braves had been at the top of that for several weeks, but now they moved down to number 4 behind the Dodgers, Orioles, and Phillies. You look at some of the teams on this. The Braves just played the Dodgers. They played the Guardians here recently. They just played the Mariners. They're playing the Red Sox right now. That's 4 top 15 teams here in the last couple of series. They're about to play 6 games against the Cubs, who are ranked 9th on this list. It's been a pretty tough schedule here and a tough stretch for the Braves lately. It's not getting much better as they're playing the Cubs. You got the Mets coming up over the weekend. They're 19th on this. We've been playing better baseball. And like I said, I think the Padres are going to start playing better baseball here soon. They're ranked 13th on this list, but that's the power rankings according to the Locked On MLB host here this week. Go through some of the offensive and pitching leaders right now across baseball, looking at some of the advanced stats this week. Mookie Betts leads all of baseball with 3 WAR. Ohtani behind him at 2.7. Bobby Witt Jr. at 2.3. That Royals team's a lot of fun to watch. I know they had a tough loss on Tuesday with Willie Adames hitting a 3-run homer in the 9th, but that Royals team is really fun to watch. So is that Brewers team, quite honestly. Juan Soto having a good year with the Yankees, 2.2 WAR. Gunnar Henderson, great season for the Orioles. He's at 2.1. The highest Braves right now in terms of WAR is Ozuna at 1.3. That is not typical. And a lot of these numbers I'm going to say are not typical for Braves players. And again, we're just a month in, so it's going to be interesting to see how things change at the end of the year. WRC plus, Ohtani leads with 219, which is just ridiculous. Betts at 199, Soto 181, Jerickson Profar 177, Altuve also at 177. Ozuna is the highest Braves. He's ranked 7th on this list at 175. No other Brave in the top 45. Ozzy Albies is 2nd at 48, right in front of Aaron Judge, who's also had a bit of a slow start with the Yankees. Expected batting average, Ohtani 372. Ozuna is second in expected batting average at 340. Mookie Betts 327. CJ Abrams 326. Jordan Westburg 323, young player for the Orioles. Michael Harris is 34th at 283. Olsen is 70th at 259. And Ronald is 74th with a 257 expected batting average. Hard hit percentage, Ohtani is first at 61.5%. Soto second at 60.9. Ryan McMahon of the Rockies, 59.5. Matt Olson has the fourth highest hardest hit percentage in all of baseball at 57.8. I'm telling you, be patient with him. It will come around, and he's going to go on an absolute tear. Brandon Marsh on that list as well, 57.5. Ozuna is ninth at 56.4. And then finally on the offensive side, barrel percentage. Ohtani, Riley Green, Walker, Shea Langoliers, and Salvador Perez are the top five in barrel percentage. Ozuna is 11th, Riley is 21st, and Olsen is 24th. Barrel percentage is one of the biggest indicators in my mind of not just power, but hit, but mainly power. And the Braves still have three guys in the top 25. Again, it's coming. You know it's coming. It's hard to be patient in the moment, but these guys are still making quality contact. On the pitching side of things are a little bit better for the Braves, but they're still not really in the top five in many of these categories. Zach Wheeler leads all pitchers in WAR at 1.8. Tanner Houck, who the Braves will thankfully miss against the Red Sox in this series, he's having a breakout year for them, 1.64. Tyler Glasnow, 1.5. Tarek Skubal for the Tigers, 1.5. And then Cutter Crawford, who the Braves just faced, at 1.5 as well. And these numbers are before Tuesday's action. xERA, Skubal leads at 2.18. Ranger Suarez, 2.25. Zach Wheeler, 2.27. Garrett Crochet, he has a 2.41 expected ERA, but an actual ERA of 5.31. Tyler Glasnow, 2.42 expected ERA. Sale is 11th in expected ERA at 2.81, and Fried is 25th at 3.24. Lopez didn't qualify. Again, these numbers were before Tuesday night's outing. XFIP right now, 100 is average, and the lower is better. Flaherty at 56. Jack Flaherty having a resurgence with the Tigers. Tarek Skubal also right there. I told you coming into the year that Tigers pitching staff was going to be good and give them a chance. Unfortunately, it's been a really tough division in the AL Central, but that pitching staff for the Tigers has been really, really good. Speaking of guys that have been really, really good, Jared Jones for the Pirates, 61 xFIP. Glasnow, 65. Wheeler, 66. Chris Sale is 8th at 69. Fried, 23rd at 84. And then whiff percentage. Jared Jones, who I mentioned, 37% whiff rate. Flaherty, 36.9. Lodolo of the Reds, 34.7. Freddie Peralta of the Brewers, 34.3. And Jose Butto for the Mets, 33.2. He had a bit of a rough start on Tuesday, which, again, wasn't necessarily factored into this. But that Mets rotation with Christian Scott in there now, Jose Butto, Senga could be back pretty soon. Suddenly that Mets team not looking all that bad, especially if they get the offense going. Reynaldo Lopez was 18th with a 30% whiff rate. Sale is 20th at 29.7. So those two guys up there in the top 20 as well. Just some news around baseball. Sunday Night Baseball is up double digits versus last year, averaging 1.6 million viewers. So that's great for the game of baseball. I worry about the game of baseball a lot right now, especially in the regular season, which has been watered down. So great to see that people are still watching. Walker Buehler made his return for the Dodgers after his second Tommy John surgery. Results weren't great, but the velo was up. And I know Spencer Strider's not technically having a full-blown Tommy John surgery. He's just cleaning up that ligament, but still, I think it's relevant to look at Walker Buehler and what he's doing after his second Tommy John surgery and maybe give some more hope for Spencer Strider coming back. Marlins could be selling everyone. What a disaster of a franchise they have over there. Sorry to Peter Pratt and all our Marlins friends. I mentioned Christian Scott had a great debut for the Mets. Going to be a problem in that rotation. You got a fight between the Brewers and the Rays. Swings were actually thrown. Maybe 1 to 2 landed in there between Abner Uribe and Jose Siri. Roku might become the new home for Sunday morning baseball. You know, I don't love those Sunday morning baseball time slots, but that could be the new home there. So may have to get another subscription to watch baseball. That's a conversation I'm not willing to have right now, but either way, just wanted to let you know so you can be prepared. Nobody is sure why Paul Skeens and Jeimer Candelario are not up in the big leagues right now for the Pirates and the Rays. who are both struggling and could use some help, but they are absolutely dominating the minor leagues. They could be the next two big prospects to get called up. And then I don't think I mentioned this last week, but Mike Trout, knee surgery, out for a while again. You just hate it. It's, in my opinion, the best player of my generation that I've ever seen, especially offensively, but even defensively. He's had some good years as well, but just cannot stay healthy, cannot stay on the field. So you really hate that for Mike Trout. So that's your news from the past week. Also, your league leaders and standings. Hopefully you enjoy this segment. I get some people that tell me they not the biggest fan of it, but a lot of you say that you do enjoy it. Either way, that's your Around the League segment for this week. Next, we'll turn our attention to Wednesday's game, where Chris Sale is looking to help the Braves sweep a 2-game set against his former team in the Boston Red Sox. We'll cover everything about that game here next. Baseball season is in full swing. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your PrizePicks entries, whether it's strikeouts, RBI, first inning runs. Take your pick of more or less and add them to your PrizePicks entry today. PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and player. You just pick more or less on 2 or more players' stats and watch the winnings roll in. And all you got to do today, open up your PrizePicks app, go over there to pitcher strikeouts and see what they have listed for Chris Sale and pick more or less. And as I'm looking at it on Wednesday morning, it is 7.5 strikeouts. And I mentioned the Red Sox strike out quite a bit. They are pretty patient. Chris Sale struck out 9 his last time out against the Mariners. PrizePicks have him for 7.5 strikeouts. So all you got to do, pick more or less there. They'll have things that you can choose from the Braves Red Sox game on Wednesday night or other games if you want to watch those as well and get in on the action. You can do that with PrizePicks. And when you download the app and use the code LOCKEDONMLB, you'll get a first deposit match up to $100. And again, super simple to play. Just pick 2 to 6 players or a group of players and pick more or less on certain stats like strikeouts, first inning runs, fantasy, point totals as well. So much to pick from. Hits, runs, RBIs combined. All of that there on your PrizePicks app. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for your first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy with PrizePicks. All right, wrap things up here, previewing Wednesday's game. Chris Sale versus Nick Pivetta. Chris Sale obviously facing his old team. He's given up 1 earned run in each of his last 2 starts. I mentioned during the ad break, he struck out 9 his last time out against the Mariners, who had the most strikeouts in baseball. The Red Sox have the second most strikeouts in baseball, but they are a little bit more patient, as we saw with Lopez struggling with command in that 6th inning. They took 3 walks in that inning. Although Sale throws a lot of strikes, doesn't walk a lot of batters, so I think that's going to be in his favor. Red Sox have the 10th best OPS against lefties this year, but that's boosted by a .350 on-base percentage. So again, if Chris Sale is filling up the strike zone like he typically does, Red Sox are just 16th in slugging against lefties. Could be a very good matchup for Chris Sale. Nobody on that team has obviously really faced him, so not a lot of experience against him. Tyler O'Neill has destroyed lefties this year, though, with a 1263 OPS and 25 at-bats, so that is one player to watch for the Red Sox. As for Nick Pivetta, he's coming off the injured list. His last MLB start was on April the 3rd. How long do the Red Sox really expect him to go? He did make 1 rehab start, but he went just 3 innings, gave up 3 hits and 4 walks. I would imagine the Red Sox are hoping that they can get 5 innings out of him. Pivetta was really good to begin the year, a .082 ERA and an .082 WHIP in 2 starts before getting injured, 13 strikeouts and just 1 walk in 11 innings, 31.2% strikeout rate last year. He did spend some time in the bullpen before converting back to the starting rotation. 4-seam, sweeper, cutter, and curveball. His curve, sweeper, and cutter all had whiff rates over 30% last year. It's a big strikeout pitcher. It's a big curveball. He gets a lot of swings and misses. But again, in this one, I think it's going to be key. How long is he actually going to be out there? Hopefully the Braves hitters can be patient with him. He walked a lot of batters in his only rehab start. Be patient with him. Work that pitch count. Hopefully knock him out of the game early. Put a couple of runs on him. And then see what you can do against that Red Sox bullpen. Make them use a lot of arms. That should be the plan of attack for the Braves offense on Wednesday night to try to win this 2-game series. We do have some more injury news in the bullpen. Tyler Matzik goes on the IL. Ray Kerr is called up. Tweeted this out after the news on Tuesday. Might be the best thing for Tyler Matzik, assuming that injury is nothing major, and it sounds like that's not the case. Give him some time to rest, kind of refresh, reset, whatever it may be, and then come back. I mean, the hope was always that by the time we get to the second half, that Tyler Matzik could be back to his old form. Certainly hasn't been that, and it's been a rough stretch for him as of late. So I think it's a good time to just put him on the IL. Again, I'm sure there is some elbow inflammation there, but just put him on the IL, let him reset, get refreshed, and hopefully come back. And like I said, you really were just hoping by the time you get to the second half of the season that you're starting to see glimpses of the old Tyler Matzik, get that velocity back up where he's sitting more. 95, 96 would be great, obviously with a good slider. So I don't think Tyler Matzik is done, but I think it's the right time to kind of just sit him down, get him some rest, and see what Ray Kerr can do. He had some big strikeout numbers at Gwinnett this year, so excited to see what he looks like. But Tyler Matzik on the IL, and then on the minor league level, top international prospect Jose Perdomo, who was set to play in the Florida Complex League, he was put on the 60-day injury list, so that's unfortunate there. Was hoping we were going to get to see him stateside here this year, but that will be delayed this season. And then obviously coming back, have to work his way back. We'll see how that goes. But some unfortunate news for the Braves' top hitting prospect by many people. Locked On's launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. It's now also available on the Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Again, we'll have a live mailbag podcast for you on Thursday night. We'll have another podcast Thursday morning recapping Wednesday's action. So be ready for that the rest of this week. Make sure you subscribe to Locked On Braves on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast, and we will talk to you next time.